Hello. So we are live. It says I'm on air. I've just been talking to Ewan and that seemed to be going well. Jane, Deborah, can you hear me? Please say yes if the sound is okay. Looks like the picture's good. Yes. Hello, Deborah. Cool. Good. Welcome. So I'll do my normal kind of saying hello and chatting a little bit before we begin. Thing from Catherine here. I'm telling her all okay. Jake and Catherine are not with us tonight, so it's been left in the in capable hands of Mark. But actually, Jake gave me everything I need, of course, to do an awesome job live from Israel this evening. Where are you, Deborah, in the world today? Brighton, sunny Brighton. It was 25 degrees on the beach today in Tel Aviv. What was the temperature there? Sunny today. Good. I'm glad it was sunny. I wouldn't want to depress you too much. Sherry, my Tel Avivian friend. I hope I'm going to be seeing you, Sherry, in the next few days in Tel Aviv. I'm meeting Smedar, who's our other Israeli member, on Tuesday, I believe. We have a coffee lined up. Yeah. I'm thinking maybe do a Brighton meetup as well. Like when we're sort of in the black belt part of the course, I'm probably going to put it out just like lunch in Infinity Foods, coffee in Starbucks, whatever, Marwoods. I know you're not all in Brighton and you're not all in Tel Aviv, so I'm sorry I can't get everywhere. But wherever I am in December, I could do a Moscow one. I know we've got a couple of people there. Actually, I'm quite a lot of places. Zurich. In January, I could do one sort of post afterwards. I'm just looking at my diary. It's a bit insane with travel, actually. So we've got a few possibilities. Derby, Canterbury, where else? Prague, Amsterdam. So I'm in all these places in December or January. So we can do either mid black belt or post black belt meetups in all those places. There's a bit of a sort of value add, but I think Brighton's the obvious one to set up fairly soon, isn't it? Lunch in Brighton, and you can bring your questions and meet the other people face to face. Yeah, so we can put on the groups and potential dates for that. Who else do we have? Laura, where are you in the world? Jane, are you up in the Midlands? Sorry, I have no family visits planned, Jane, but when I do, I'll let you know. I'm up in Brum. Everyone say hello, so I know you're there. London, we could do a London meetup too. That's fairly straightforward. I'm in London for EFC in December, in the 9th, 10th, and 11th of December. So if you wanted to meet in Shadwell in East London, I could meet people for lunch in East London. That would be possible during EFC. So London town is possible. And I'm up in Matlock in the north of England, God knows why, for an embodiment yoga thing in early January. So for the Northerners, is that, Jane, do you know where Matlock is? Is that kind of Midlands? It's like North Midlands. I heard it's like north of Derby somewhere. But, okay, guys, any questions about the course? We're in our sort of normal pre-webinar foreplay part. Any questions about anything that's going on? Yeah, pleased. I'll be in Thailand then. Oh, don't know. East Midlands, maybe. Things like. Any questions from anyone about the course? How things going? Brown belty. We're into marketing territory, which is very live for me at the moment. Launching various new things, and I'm having a one-to-one paid private call with you in a couple of days. Questions, comments, how's it going? Are you happy that we took your home? Mike, healed, hopefully not broken. Out of hospital, Mike, hopefully. Any questions? Are you happy we've sort of taken the homework down a little bit? We want you to really focus on your own businesses rather than doing crazy personal growth work. So we've taken that down a little bit. That's partly from feedback, and it was, it's planned anyway, actually. Out for a couple of weeks. Cool. But are you back home now, Mike, or is this live from hospital? Mike's in Wales, I believe, for those of you who haven't chatted to Mike. Out for a couple of weeks. Okay, good. So you've been out. Good. Dad's been in and out of hospital lately. It's a pain in the arse. Hey, shalom. So let me show you where I am, Shiri. Okay, loving marketing. Okay, this is. Can you see? Is that? It's not. It's going to be not bright enough. So I'm in Give a Team, Shiri. Okay, I'm sure you know where that is. It's just outside of Tel Aviv for those of you who don't. So yes, I've been eating the salad and the hummus and the shakshuka. If you've never had Israeli food, by the way, guys, it's highly underrated. It's really good and very vegetarian friendly and healthy and from all over the world because, of course, Israelis are from fucking everywhere. So it's very varied. Little sleep. Sorry to hear that. 5 minutes from me. Yeah. So like, Shiri, when am I going to see you? Huh? Like sort it out. I'm in Jaffa every morning. Well, I'm in Jaffa tomorrow morning. If you want to meet, it's very easy. I'm staying in Old Town Jaffa. So very, very straightforward thing to do if you want to meet tomorrow. Let me check my diary. Yes. I have time tomorrow at about, I can have a coffee like 10 a.m. Israel time, for example. Yeah. Cool. Still only 6 of us. Kind of a slow night, but I guess we've still got time. Any questions? By the way, Jaffa, if those of you who don't know, it's the other side of Tel Aviv. It's like Brighton and Hove. It's like Jaffa and Tel Aviv. And it's where Jaffa cakes come from, if you're English. That's the home of the famous Jaffa orange when it was British, when we were invading it. Tuesday morning. We're just gonna have a coffee, everyone now. Tricky Tuesday morning. Let's take this to private message. I'm doing yoga with someone embodiment wise. It's very interesting. Possibly like 11:30 for a quick coffee. If not, I'm around with Daria for a couple of weeks. The beautiful Daria will be here soon. Oh, cool. Yeah, I the Jew Arab Democratic School. I have done peace building type stuff, I believe, with that school, if not another one nearby. Not a lot of people know that Jaffa is Arabic Jewish bi-communal. I was eating falafel with Arabs yesterday in the heart of Jaffa, and there's a mosque right by my hotel, which luckily isn't too loud when they do the call to prayer. Not a lot of people know that. It's not quite what people think here. Please come and forget me. Oh, a lot of walking today. Walking around Tel Aviv, trying to be healthy, and then eating too much food to make up for it. Alice, our map maker. Hello, Alice. We were talking about potentially doing a London meetup, if that's the nearest place to you. I'm imagining we're going to have a sudden rush of people. It seems like people have figured out how to log in quickly, so they're coming at last minute these days, but that's all okay. Questions, comments, time to get some personal bits. I know Jane was making the most of the Facebook group, talking about her offers. She was saying, can I have different websites? Absolutely, I will have a different website for every product, for every client, but we do need to have some consistency in our brand, in case people see different websites, you can't be a whole different person. You're welcome, Jane. What was helpful, just for everyone's learning if they didn't see it? Supermoon Bedford. Is it a supermoon today? Marketing stuff hard, personal growth I found easy enough. Yeah, what's actually interesting is that while we say the first part is personal growth, the marketing can be more personal growth because it can really bring us into contact with trolls. If we have stuff around clarity or about selling or about being seen, that's when this can actually come out. So yes, it can be the hard part in some ways. Yeah. So while we have this sort of slightly artificial distinction of the personal growth bit and the non-personal growth bit, yeah, it's not quite like that, is it? I'd be curious what you found hard specifically, Mike, as well. Who else? Andy. Hello, Andy. Hello, Annie. Looks like we're starting to gather. Bridget. Hello, Bridget. I know Ewan's kind of curious what you do for a living and where you're from. So if you want to put kind of your, some of you I know quite well, of course, many of you I have some sense of what you do now. But if you want to put that up for Ewan's benefit to say where you are in the world, and what you do, then feel free. Yeah. So Jamie was talking to me about audience earlier. Can you say different things to different people? Does there need to be consistency? Hello, Bridget. Yeah, so the multiple offers, I personally, you might talk about this, but I personally will tailor sites depending on the product and the audience, because people need slightly different language. If I'm selling to yoga teachers, it's a bit different from business people. You guys, Purpose Black Belt, the new thing on attractiveness I'm putting together, there's definitely, it's always my voice. There's always a authenticity to it and a consistency of one part, like the embodiment, because I want to be known for one thing, the embodiment thing. However, there's definitely different images that are used, different color schemes. We're doing this thing on attraction at the moment, and it's like, okay, well, what color works with that? We didn't want it too feminine, too masculine. It had to be something for men and for women. Now, if it had just been for women or just been for men, I could have, the color scheme would have been totally different. The font would have been totally different. The words we use, we're trying to balance like the yin and the yang with the wording. Like black belt is kind of yang and beauty is kind of yin. Yeah. So there's a sort of juxtaposition there. Any other questions, guys, before we officially kick off? We've got a couple of minutes. I've seen a few more people have arrived. Miriam from Netherlands, just around the corner from our Ewan, of course. Do you know Ewan? You probably know him, don't you? Hey, y'all. Clearly in the deep south of America. Have we had an election since the last time we spoke? Ooh. Love him. I'm sure you mean Ewan, not Donald Trump, right? Pretty sure about that. Pretty sure. Why would you think that? Just a wild guess. Wild, crazy guess, Miriam. Back at ya. You know what? We're about to begin, so let's not start the Trump conversation. I don't know about you, but there's plenty of that on Facebook. Yeah, I did get a bit ranty, Jane. I lost about 10 Facebook friends the day he was elected, but most of those were liberal Americans, strangely enough. And then Donald Pie came and said what, not Donald Pie, Mr. Pie came and said what I was saying, but much better immediately afterwards. So I took the pressure off me. Okay, we're on air. I suggest that we go live. So welcome everybody. I'm sure a few more people will turn up as usually the one, but welcome everyone to the call. We have Ewan joining us today. I'll introduce him shortly. For those of you who didn't experience it, the Facebook group is live with people talking about their offers, talking about what they do, kind of real world. How do I talk about this? How do I market it? That is going on now. So do join in the Facebook group. Like James is making the most of that. I will be on there, if not daily, pretty much near daily. I'm in the desert a couple of days, in a few days time. But other than that, I'm going to be on there a lot, helping out. Till you don't have much and the sort of not so much homework now, we really want to keep that Facebook group engaged as a way of bringing your sort of real world things to the group, because James had a question and then like 3 or 4 people just now have said, yeah, I had the same question. So that's why the Facebook's great, rather than kind of messaging us privately, so everyone can learn. So welcome tonight. I am in Tel Aviv. My friend has just set me up on his extremely flash computer. We're using Israeli broadband, military grade intelligence, no doubt. So yeah, it should be all good on the tech side tonight. So thank you to my friend for hosting me. He knows who he is. In terms of the course, do give Catherine feedback. Let us know how it's going with those questions. We'll see you on the Facebook group. I've mentioned that. What else? Meetups. We were just talking about meetups. So we're also going to arrange some meetups in Brighton, in London when I'm up for EFC, in Amsterdam and Prague in January, and Canterbury and Matlock and a few other places. There's plenty of opportunities. Moscow, plenty of opportunities. I know everyone can't do that. I'll be seeing most of the Israelis soon. So yes, possibilities for meetups. We'll have to organize it on the Facebook, but there'll definitely be one in Brighton in the near future. I'll just say Infinity Foods, Tuesday, be there, I'll be square, something along those lines. Okay, cool. So I want to introduce Ewan. Ewan is an old friend of mine. He's also someone I go to professionally. He's someone I pay, pretty serious money to get his advice on copy for websites. He was integral to the Purpose Black Belt website. He had several meetings with me looking over the content. So, you are here as a result of the work that he and I did together. He has been involved with conscious capitalism. He's been involved with something called Waking Up the Workplace, which was all about sort of spirituality in the workplace, different approaches to that. Been doing marketing for a long time. Also has a background in, had a degree in performing arts, done lots of meditation and personal growth, and is a big hippie like me. Lives in the Netherlands, and I will invite him on screen now. So Ewan, if you're hearing this, you need to click on the little thing that is inviting you. And yeah, I was very happy with the help he gave me with the copy for Purpose Black Belt. I didn't really take copywriting seriously until quite recently, and copy is just writing that serves a purpose. He can introduce it better than I can. It's just a bit of jargon, this idea of words that have an effect. And now that I'm taking that seriously, it's like, wow, okay, this is a whole world. This is a whole thing. So Ewan, sir, welcome. Over to you.
Thank you. I'm a little offended you call me a hippie. I'd like to call myself a ex-hippie.
A conscious entrepreneur? Does that that work better for you?
You know what? I kind of hate that term, like conscious these days.
What does it mean, right? Like
yeah, right. Like, oh, we're conscious and they're not conscious or something. It's a little
snobby, huh?
A little snobby. Okay, but I think we know what we mean, and that's indeed what I've been fascinated by for a long time. Is kind of how do we bring conscious, spiritual, artistic, human, social aspects into the work we do, and hopefully try and make the world a little better place. So thank you, Mark. You're going to be in the background. Jump in at any time, my friend, if you want to ping me on something you want to put more attention to. All right, this is cool. I haven't taught marketing for some years, so I'm a little nervous. My thinking has changed a lot since I did. So, and I've got a lot of notes, and I'm like an artist by heart. I'm not the most organized person in a bunch of ways, so I hope the kind of flow, and I'm going to try and fit lots of stuff in, but the more interactive you are, the better that'll really help me. I'm a kind of conversational person, so throw questions, comments, clarifications in the little chat thing, and that'll really help me kind of tune what I'm speaking about to make sure it really helps. So marketing, I have had a totally love-hate relationship with marketing since the very beginning. I did not, like Mark said, I did a degree in performing arts. I didn't know shit about business. I did not come from a business background. My dad was a therapist. My mom was an artist and a writer. But as I got into business, I just kind of realized that marketing is kind of crucial. And I found myself doing it without knowing it was marketing, and then discovered I was doing marketing and fumblefucked my way through learning how to do it. So I am speaking to you not as someone who would say their greatest gift on this planet, why I was born, was to do marketing, but as someone who is an artist and a writer and a coach and wants to do their work out in the world. I've just discovered that marketing is inescapable. You have to do it in some way. And through my journey, I'm a rule breaker by nature. I don't like doing what people tell me to do. So right from the beginning, I've tried to discover ways to do marketing that didn't offend my aesthetic sensibilities, didn't make me want to vomit, that worked, that had me feel good about what I was doing. I've been doing it on and off for a long time, probably 8 or 9 years or something. Made a lot of mistakes, fucked stuff up, had big successes as well. What's that Mark saying? We're all either doing good or crap marketing, and unethical or ethical. Yeah, indeed. I think that is one of the big polarities here, which is there's a lot of people that don't want to do the old kind of manipulative feeling marketing, and yet sometimes it can be really ineffective. And if we're doing marketing well, it's helping us reach the people we want to reach, which is kind of the key to it. So let me give some framing. What I want to do today is I'm going to talk kind of framing philosophy. I have a slightly odd way of thinking about marketing as compared to a lot of the conventional ways that people would approach it. So I want to kind of go into that and talk to you about how I think about it, just because it's the way that I discovered that made me feel sane, and could go out of my door in the morning and not feel like I was doing horrible things. And at the same time, I also want to give some kind of practical, tactical stuff. Mark said that there's a lot of you that are kind of unfamiliar with marketing or how to frame your offers or all those kind of things. I want to give some kind of practical frames, but all the way through, keep pinging me if there's things that you want me to speak to specifically. Why don't we start? I would love to hear if you would type in like, how familiar with marketing are you? And let's do it on let's do a 1 to 3 scale. So 1 is like, I know fuck all or a little bit. 2 is, I kind of know more or less what it's about and the kind of basics and fundamentals. And 3 would be, I'm an expert. I really know my shizzle. All right, 1s and 2s, it looks like. -1. Awesome, Alice. Great. 2s. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll try and mix it up with some fundamentals, and also I think what I'm let me frame it this way. Actually, let me go back to the beginning. Let's talk marketing in general. Like I said, I think marketing is crucial. This is a very old quote from a kind of old school marketer that I thought kind of frames the nice thing nicely. He said, by a guy called Stuart Henderson Britt. He sounds a little pompous. I'm not sure what he's like, but I like his quote. It says, doing business, and he says advertising, but you can kind of superimpose marketing in there. Doing business without advertising is like winking at a girl in the dark. You know what you're doing, but nobody else does. So that's kind of how I would think about marketing. Like, if you're not engaging in marketing, and I'm going to deconstruct that word a little bit, probably no one's going to know what you're doing. Nice little wink from Mark there. Thank you, my friend. But like I said, I think marketing is a very hot topic. So if I go back 8 or 9 years to when I first got involved in business, internet, the internet business thing was getting big, and teleseminars were like original and novel. People talked about internet marketing a lot, and it was kind of synonymous with internet business, having a business online. They called it internet marketing. And I think that's because kind of, if you're going to learn anything in terms of kind of fundamental business skills, marketing is where you want to go to, because it's the thing that's going to get you in touch with people who hopefully pay you to do stuff. And if you're not getting paid, you don't have business. Like I said, I think one of the big issues that we're seeing in marketing right now, or marketing online, is that I think the marketplace in general is diversifying an awful lot. That's the amazing thing about the internet, that now you can have a business and you don't need, the setup costs are bugger all. I'm going to swear a lot. I do that. I hope it doesn't offend you. The setup costs are, minuscule. Seriously, you can run a business with an email account and Skype and Facebook. I mean, you really don't need to, outlay huge amounts of money like you did do 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, potentially. Websites you can set up for basically nothing. So the internet has just democratized the whole business marketplace, and there are so many people coming in doing small one-person businesses, freelancers, part-time stuff. And the other big thing that the internet changed, I think, is that it took away the geographical constraints. So where 20 years ago, if you want to be an embodiment teacher like Mark, you're restricted to who you know in your geographical area. How many people can you get to come to a workshop, or how many people can you send a letter to or something? That has just gone. And so I think what's happened is that it allows people to get very, very niche, very, very niche. So you can do weird things that, as long as there's 50 other people in the world who also like weird things like you do, boom, you can go. Internet made by business. Yes, indeed. All right, marketing. Marketing is a weird one. I'm a word geek. I like looking up the etymology of words. And if we look at marketing, what is it? What is it? In fact, let's do that. Some of you have got 2s and 3s. Bridget, you've got a 3. I'm expecting a good answer from you. What is marketing? What do you think marketing is if you were to summarize in a sentence? How would you say it? And then I'll give some context. Don't be shy. This is very odd. It's almost like speaking to myself. I only see you with these little comments. All right. Bridget, placing the right product in the right place at the right time. Nice. Communicating an offer. Yep. Telling the world about what you know. Seducing the customer. Awesome. Yes, I'm totally into seduction. Laying a trail of breadcrumbs so people can find you. Yes. Ada, Miriam, my darling. I have no idea what that means. Presenting my product service. Yeah. Putting me in touch with people who I can help. Totally. Yes. Great answers in there. But the word marketing is a really weird one, because originally it was a noun. We had a market, and originally it was, I'm from England, and so we, many of our towns are originally market towns, and the town is there because there were a bunch of people with some sheep and some goats and some cloth or whatever it was, and every Saturday or whatever it is, they come and they sell their stuff, and that's a market, and it was a noun. Now, recently it's become a verb, to market, or to do marketing. I think I kind of understand why we think of it in that way, but I think it can be kind of misleading. Because when I think about, so what does that even mean? If a market is a thing, what is it to do marketing? Is it like doing the selling? Well, I guess it's kind of the selling in a sense, but here's my issue with it. I think at least when I think about doing marketing, am I doing good marketing? It kind of brings this mechanistic kind of image to my mind of like, I make my thing, I have my product, and then I do my marketing, which is like, Mad Men advertising, billboards, whatever it is, and then I get my money, hopefully get rich. I think that's a very industrial way of looking at it, very industrial mindset, which I think is a bit out of date, really. So here's the way I think about marketing, and all your answers are great, and I think those are very very specific. However, as a generalized way of thinking about it, here's what I think. I think marketing is basically relating with the people that you're serving. I think it's fundamentally a relational practice. Some people might call it communication, but for me, really, it's relational. And I think that's what we're seeing today in terms of how people are running businesses. The key thing is kind of relating with the people that you're here to serve over a longer period of time. It's getting harder and harder to use the clever tricks and tactics to get fast results. And so I think it's more and more important that we play the long game. And so that's what I want to speak to a little more. I'm looking at my notes here. All right. I'm going to speak to some really specific, more kind of zoomed in marketing stuff in a little bit. I'm going to speak to some stuff on copywriting, which is a very specific part of marketing, like how you write stuff down. I'll talk about, Mark specifically wanted me to talk about how to frame your offer. And I'll kind of give some pointers and some principles in there. But before we get there, here's the larger way I think about it. And also let me pre-frame this by saying, I do think with marketing that kind of old adage definitely holds true, which is, what was it? Something like learn the rules like a master and then break them like an artist. I think that is, never has that been more important than it is today in terms of marketing. So, and I don't think that's sequential either. I mean, I think you kind of pendulum it back and forth, but I think it is important to touch in with some really fundamental areas of marketing. Without that, you're just gonna make life difficult for yourself. However, I do think it's important that you do marketing in a way that feels authentic to you, and that's what I want to speak a lot to. How shall I come at this? All right, here's the frame I think about. If you check in with a lot of the ways that conventional marketers would have you approach these kind of things, seducing the customer, they kind of say, define your customer avatar. You know, you work out their desires and frustrations and all that stuff, which is great. That's very good fundamental marketing stuff. Define your customer avatar and then tailor your marketing to speak to that person so that they hear you and they buy your stuff and you persuade them in an effective way. That will be what I would call the conventional way of doing it, which I think sometimes is the most appropriate way. But for people that are kind of at an early stage of working out what their work is in the world, or, excuse me, how to present it, or it's kind of new, or that, you know, if you guys are doing it online and you're not so practiced at that, I think that can cause an issue. And two, I think especially in today's world where I'm guessing a lot of you, like me, are presenting products which are a little non-standard. You know, previously you have a simple product as like a widget or a shoe or a goat or whatever it is, and it's kind of simple and fairly objective, and you can work out, well, who wants the goat, who wants the shoe, and that's very easy, relatively speaking. But I think a lot of us are, what we're doing is we're actually selling transformational products and services. You know, these kind of things, if it's coaching or training or herbal products or these kind of things, it's a little less straightforward in terms of what it is. And I think that's especially true for when we ourselves are in the early stage of working out what it is, that we do. How do we present embodiment? That's a conversation I've had a lot with Mark. You know, how do you describe the product of embodiment? That's a little less straightforward than a shoe. So here's the kind of flip frame from the one I presented of, you know, define your customer avatar, tailor your marketing materials to speak to them, and then, you know, get them to buy it. I think that would be how I would frame kind of outside in. It's like you go outside first. You look at, okay, who are they? How do I speak to them in an effective way? The flip is start from inside. And I'm going to try and speak to this without sounding too hippie. Okay. This is how I would think about it. It's like we're each here to do some kind of unique work. I believe that. I'm someone who thinks about things in terms of the soul in a very real way. That's a word that's thrown around a lot, but I genuinely think that we are each here to do some kind of unique work. I think it's something that no one else can do. What that looks like is the great mystery. And so starting from that place, I think, especially early on, but regardless of whether you're at an early stage or you know, deep into a business, I think there's a very powerful practice. And basically, I would summarize it by saying this: it's reveal the fuck out of yourself. And Mark is a wonderful example of this. Like, if you look at how Mark markets stuff, basically he just he does marking. He's like being Mark on Facebook, being his outrageous self. And I think the result of that kind of inside out approach of like, how much of myself dare I reveal to you? How much of who I actually am, or what I actually care about, what I actually think about things, how much of that am I willing to share with you? How much of that am I willing to put out there with the threat of people criticizing me and saying, I don't like you and I think you're full of shit? I think that's the great fear in business and marketing. And I'm kind of using those terms loosely. Really, this is about, doing the work that we're here to do. And when you really take the risk of saying, this is what I really, really care about, and maybe no one listens, or you get this deafening silence, or they say, what drugs did you smoke? It feels really painful. But I think what happens when you take that kind of approach of revealing the fuck out of yourself is it kind of starts to reveal your shape. What do I mean by that? Kind of like your kind of essential, authentic shape, how you happen to think about things, which you wouldn't be able to define articulately. Like, it's like saying, who am I? Like, really, like, not like I'm Ewan and I was born in England and I do coaching and writing, but like, who am I at a really deep level? I mean, that's the question that you can never answer. But as you reveal yourself through what I would call art, and I don't mean art by painting or, songs necessarily, but art as in showing who you are, be that through writing or videos or workshops or making herbs or whatever it is, your particular work in the world, your art, the more you're willing to do that, the more of your essential shape kind of gets revealed, even though it's not kind of conscious and it's not deliberate, you're not quite sure, but it's showing people that. It's like, oh, I'm not quite sure I want to share this, but then people see something true. And then what happens is the people that are kind of organically or intrinsically a good fit, they're kind of the reciprocal shape, like your shape like this, and then they go, ooh, and they somehow get attracted, and they're like, I don't know why, but that weird Mark Walsh guy, he talks a load of bullshit, but I like the way he thinks about things. And I just feel this weird feeling of wanting to come in closer and find out what he's about. I'd imagine a bunch of you kind of experience that. And at the same time, what it's going to do, which all great branding and marketing does, is it attracts the right people and it repels the wrong people. So the people that are just going to be a really good fit for the way that Mark thinks about things, or you think about things, are going to want to come closer. And the people that are like, this is horseshit, I don't know who this person is, I don't know what, don't know what town he's from, they're going to move further away. I think that is the most powerful way of thinking about marketing, from a starting point, which is, like I said, how courageously are you willing to reveal yourself and show who you actually are. The challenge in that one, and I'm sure Mark would be able to speak to this as well, or those of you that have done these kind of things as well, is at some point we'll get judged. Like that's the fear I hear a lot from people when I talk to them about this. They're like, yeah, but I'm scared of getting judged. So the truth is, you will be judged. Some people are not going to like what you say, and they're not going to like how you think about things. And there's that inevitable, for me anyway, kind of fear of, oh, but if I say it how I really think about it and they judge me, and then they all go somewhere else, and then I'm alone, and then I die alone, and I don't want that to happen. Doesn't normally happen that way in my experience, but I would say that's the kind of existential fear. There's we're so conditioned to think about fitting in with the conventional rules and towing the line and not being the tall poppy, right? There's that proverb in a lot of cultures of the tallest poppy gets their head chopped off. But in today's world, I think that's exactly what is called for. Is like, who are you? Show yourself. put your head above the parapet. So in a way, kind of, I would say following that meta philosophical practice of marketing, of showing yourself and then relating with the people that show up, that's the long game. There's tactics and specific stuff that we can fit into that, but like, I would say that's the big practice. It's reveal the fuck out of yourself. It's see who shows up, and it's serve the shit out of them as best you can and understand who they are and consistently interact with them and give them things that you think will help. I do that through blogging, although I've kind of been on a bit of a hiatus recently, but I would say that is the way I think about it. Is every time I write a blog, maybe not everyone likes it, but somehow they're helped, and they share it with a few people, and then some other people go, "Ooh, I liked your writing," and then some of them ask me about coaching. So at the moment, I don't even really promote my coaching. People just kind of show up. It's kind of the attraction principle rather than the projection principle. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I would say that's a really powerful way of doing it, because it gets you out of having to know all the answers up front. Because if you do the kind of conventional one of defining who exactly your customer is, often you have to do that from a kind of mental conceptual place, and you might get it wrong. I think the best way of doing the avatar work is actually more like see who shows up and then summarize them. Like, what do they have in common based on the people that are actually showing up, rather than the people that you think you like to serve, which may come from some bullshit ego place, or the opposite bullshit ego place of like, I don't think I'm that good and people wouldn't really like what I have to say. And so you kind of dumb down what you think you're doing and who you're serving. Whereas if you practice just really saying or really showing or really helping people in the way that you think is powerful, then people show up. And that is what I would kind of think of as, I'm just looking at my notes. It's kind of like tribal marketing. It's like those are the people that show up. There's a famous, in fact, this can be part of your reading. There's a famous article by Kevin Kelly called 500 True Fans, I think it's called, if you just Google that. And he's basically saying, and that number's probably lower for weird niche business as well, but look, all you need is like 500 people or less, 100 people, 50 people that just really love what you're doing because they love you for actually who you are and how you think about things. That's kind of all you need. And that's tribal marketing. It's like, find those people, not the ones that you say it in the right way so that they think you're good and successful and smart, and so they want to pay you the money to, be like you. No, they go, wow, this person's really has something, and they're really saying something that just speaks to me in a way I can't quite explain. So that is the meta practice. Or to summarize it with a Buddhist quote, Trungpa Rinpoche said, "Be yourself, and the world will give you feedback." And that's kind of the thing. Like, be yourself and show yourself would be what I would add in, and you will get feedback. And that's not a one-time thing. It's not like you show yourself and then you get the feedback and then you got it. No, it's like a constant iteration of like showing something and people like it or they don't like it, and then you learn something more about yourself, and then you kind of get to discover who you are and exactly how to articulate what you're doing in that interaction. So it's not like I plan it in advance and then tell you and then the marketing thing all works. It's like I'm constantly in relationship with the people that seem to be showing up in relationship to my work, and I'm learning who they are and who I am through that relationship. That's why I think marketing is a relational practice. Let me pause there. Give me some thoughts. What is resonating for you? If there's something that's really resonating, where you have questions, what doesn't make sense? Let me do a little temperature check and see if I can fill in some gaps if it's not clear. The deafening silence that I spoke of. Is this making sense? Is the things you like about it? Is the things you don't like about it? do you have more practical questions that you actually want me to get to? I'm going to get to some more practical stuff too, but oh, here we go. It's coming. I wasn't. That's the scroll on my thing. Oh wow, you've been saying lots of things and I didn't see it any of it. La, la, la. Very clear, like it. Mark saying, yeah, I thought Purpose Black Belt would be all men, and it's actually, yeah, exactly. And we talked about that, Mark, right? That you were thinking about promoting it just for men, and I was like, not sure about that. That would have made a mistake, huh? Very clear, like it. Love this. Blowing my known world of marketing. Great. Say that world bit again about giving. Scary but awesome. All's clear. Enjoying the idea of reveal myself. Yeah, it makes sense. Really like the approach. Yes, giving. What is useful. Definitely resonates. Good one. Yeah, good. Giving. I'm not quite sure what you were referring to, Mark, about the bit about giving, but I would say in essence, like it's about service. I mean, I really do think it's about service. As you start to get an idea of who the people are that are showing up, the people that are there, kind of there in your tribe, you can think about this intellectually, but even more powerfully, you can feel into it intuitively. Like, what's really going to help them? Where, feel out into the field. Like, where are they at? What are they struggling with? You could feel that. You could ask them directly. You survey them. What are they struggling with? What is the acupuncture point that is really going to help them? And just create stuff. Like, just give to them. Give things that you think will be of service, whether you get paid for it or not. Tips for managing the fear of judgment and criticism. Yeah, read Brene Brown on that one. She's just the queen of that stuff. So here's a couple of rules of thumb on judgment and criticism. She talks a lot about being in the arena. This is an amazing quote that she uses in a book from Theodore Roosevelt, which, in fact, let's read it because it's one of my favorite quotes. If you guys don't know this quote, you should absolutely know it. And then I'm going to answer your question about the judgment thing. All right, here we go. Man in the arena. I remember the first time my mentor read this to me and it just gave me shivers. All right. This was by Theodore Roosevelt. He said this in 1910. He said, "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat." So the answer about judgment is, first one is like, are they in the arena too? Or are they like an armchair critic or the philosophologist, as Tim Ferriss would call them? If they're not in the arena, ignore it because it's not valid. If they're also in the arena and they're putting their ass on the line and they're doing their best as well, maybe you do want to listen to it. And then Brene Brown's trick is she has a list of 5 names that she has laminated in her wallet of the 5 people that she cares about most in the world. And if someone gives some like really, really hard criticism, she'll get out that list. Is this person on my list? No, doesn't matter. Let's have a look. Doesn't revealing all of yourself confuse your market? Maybe you could clarify that, Deborah. Why would you imagine that would confuse your market? And then I could speak to it. Market research 2.0, yes. Lovers are like customers. Not sure how much I can reveal of myself. that because you don't think it's appropriate, or because you're afraid? Or tell me what it is, Sarah. Read Hugh Brown. Brené Brown. Amazing. If you haven't read her, check out her stuff. There's a couple of fantastic TED Talks. Her book, Daring Greatly, where she puts that quote in, is highly recommended. I love the idea of 50 to 100 well-matched clients, yes. Yep. Easy E. Fuck the haters, they ain't playing. Indeed, exactly. Totally. And yeah, it definitely hurts sometimes, but that, I think, is part of the game. It's totally part of the game. Being courageous is not feeling fear. It's doing it and getting scared and not knowing where the line is sometimes, and crossing the line sometimes, as I've done, definitely. I know Mark's done, and it's like you learn from it, and you definitely get more resilient over time, I would say. I don't want to know that my account is in Cosplay. I don't know what that means, Deborah. Love the idea of daring greatly and not being worried about failing. Yeah, that's the game. Good. Like I said, I think revealing all of yourself. For example, I don't want to know that my accountant makes cosplay costumes. Yeah, indeed. Revealing yourself can, yeah, it can get to a point where it's actually not of service. And I wrote a post last year about also the traps of truth telling or revealing yourself. And there's a few where I think you need to be careful. Brené, this is the quote Brené again, she once said, because in a sense, this is about being vulnerable. This is about showing up and being vulnerable and what we care about truly. And Brené said, I like calling her Brené as if I know her. Brené said, vulnerability minus boundaries is not vulnerability. That's, and I would say that's vomit. So we don't want to be vomiting or just, telling people like, that our cat just ate some new food or something. What I really mean by it is in the context of our work and how we relate with our work and life, what really matters to us, what's important, what do we really care about? And I think, and I'm speaking about this specifically with the kinds of work that I think we do on this call, which is, I don't think we have any accountants on the call, right? I mean, accounting is something different, or, if you just make shoes, it's probably a little less important, although, I mean, you could still do it in that context, but it's more, especially when, your work, for example, I'm a writer and a coach. So when I'm coaching someone, it's not some kind of objective transactional thing. I'm fully in that relationship with them. So the more that I reveal about who I am, the more they can get a taste of, oh yeah, that's someone I could be interested in doing work with or not. I hope that makes sense. So yes, and here would be another litmus test, which is, and this one can be a mindfucker sometimes too, but a litmus test can be, is this going to open people or close people? Like ultimately, I don't think we want to be closing people down and having them feel more contracted or afraid. A friend of mine told a story of a woman who was had a quite established business, and she was kind of going through a bit of an existential crisis, and she was like tweeting about it all the time, saying, "Oh, my business is fucked," and blah blah blah. And that could be of service in one context. I don't think it was in hers. And her people just got really afraid, and I don't think it opened them. So I think that's an important litmus test. Is this having people open, or is this closing them down? That can get tricky, because sometimes the initial response is closing because it's controversial or it's pointing on some sore spot, but it will actually have something open up. Hope that makes sense. Let's see, 20 minutes to go. Okay. Let's pivot. Let's talk about some more specific marketing stuff. Let me give you a few frames on some kind of more applied context for this. Let's start with, I said, I think the meta practice is revealing, and through whatever medium it is that is important to you. I'm a writer, so I do a lot of writing. Other people might prefer doing videos, teaching live, you know, whatever your particular medium is that you like, art in the largest sense. So the best form of marketing is just do that a lot and serve the crap out of people as much as you can and do it consistently. Like, that's the best marketing long term. In the short term, if you have a very specific thing, you're launching a new website, you have a new product, or you have a product that you've never really described before, which I think is the case for some of you. You know, how do you present that? How do you make your offer? So let's talk copywriting. Copy, it's a weird term. I looked this up earlier today. Basically comes from advertising. If any of you watch Mad Men, it's like the era of Mad Men, which is a wonderful series. You should totally watch it if you haven't seen it. Mad Men, as in Madison Avenue Men. It's the advertising industry in the 1950s and 60s. Fascinating show. Copy was like the text that they put on the advert or the billboard or the radio ad. You know, it's the text. Oh, Colgate, it makes your teeth white. You know, all that kind of stuff. And the specific thing, now the lines get blurry these days, but, you know, let's draw it out to make the distinction. The way that you can, that makes copywriting distinct from writing a blog, for example, is copy is designed to get people to do something really specific. There is an action that is designed to get them to take or not take. So the classic one these days online is, if you look at and you can, this would be good research for you to do. If you find 5 websites of people that you really like, and look at their front page, and look at what is that front page ushering us toward. What is the thing that it's trying to get us to do if we want to? Often on a front page, the copy is to get us to sign up for the mailing list. That's the common one these days, because that's a really important way of capturing those people that are drawn to you, the people that do want to become part of your tribe, and then you can be in greater relationship with them. So copy has a specific outcome. So yes, let's see. Or on an email, you know, the copy in an email is often to get people to click a link. That's normally the way. Now, traditionally, people would tell you, you know, the purpose of copy is to persuade people to buy your thing or click your link. I would put it differently. I don't think it's to persuade people. It's to help people make the right decision for them. So like I said, a good brand attracts and repels in equal measure. So any copy, whether it's the front page of your website, whether it's a sales page for your new workshop, or for the coaching you do, or your product, or whatever it is, it's to help them make a decision on whether they want to buy that or not. And so copy is very specifically taking people through kind of all the information that you think they would need in order to intelligently make that decision. So let's all do this together. Let's if you go to purposeblackbelt.com, and we'll go through this quickly because it's a very long page, but you all know this one. Open that up in your browser, purposeblackbelt.com. At the top, great tagline. I love that tagline, getting paid without the bullshit. Very long page. If I skim right to the bottom, this page isn't live, so maybe it doesn't have it. Yes, you go right to the bottom. There's in marketing speak, we call the call to action. Well, it's not right at the bottom, but it's buy now. It's got a big buy now button. So this whole page is basically designed to get people to make a decision on whether they want to buy it or not. So that is the key aspects when you're doing copywriting. When you're writing a page, an email, an advert for a workshop, whatever it is, what is the call to action, they would call it in marketing, and therefore the purpose of all the copy is to help people make that decision. So Mark has all these different aspects on here to give people insight into, is this something I want to buy or not? Yeah, he's got all the details about the program, videos, what you're going to get out of it. Are you the right person for it? Testimonials, all these different aspects that are gonna give the reader a sense of, oh yeah, this is what I was looking for, versus this isn't the right fit right now. So that's why I would say it's kind of less about persuasion, and it's more about helping them make the decision, if that makes sense. Let's see. Most people have stayed on the course say why. Met the brief. Like on landing pages, lead pages. Yeah, exactly. So a landing page is a kind of old internet marketing term, which is, it's a page that someone kind of lands on from somewhere else. So you follow a Facebook ad and you click the little link and then you land on this page. Or front pages are often kind of landing pages. And a landing page, yeah, kind of, and often those ones, or they used to call them squeeze pages. And a squeeze page was called that because it basically gave you two options. You either kind of do what they want you to do, like join the mailing list, or click off the page, and it kind of uncluttered the options there, in a sense. Your page is very long. Is that okay? I used to be discouraged, Mike. Yeah, good question. This is a very, very un-PC term, but the old adage with, how long should copy be, is copy should be as long as a woman's skirt, as in it should be long enough to cover the important bits, but short enough to get your attention. I hope I haven't offended anyone by that. Another rule of thumb is you can kind of gauge it on price. Like if this was for a free webinar and that's what the page is designed to do, you kind of don't want it that length, because it's a low stakes decision, in a sense. All it costs you is entering your email, whereas this is a £1,000 program. So yeah, you want a lot of information to help people. That is copy on a meta level. Here's a frame for here's another frame for copy. It's often called the 1, 2, 3 of copywriting. So this is like, don't take this as gospel. This is like a loose frame to help you. Fuck with it, please fuck with it. But these are the things that, for example, on a front page or a page for a new workshop, something where you're getting people to take this desired action that you have, whatever it is. Here's the 1, 2, 3, and it's kind of sequential, but fuck with it, please fuck with it. 1, here's what I have for you, as in let them know kind of early on what it actually is. So I've got a really stupid example I wrote down here. So the example could be, quote, I just wrote a blog on cosmic monkey spanking. So people know what it is. It's a blog. It's about cosmic monkey spanking. Immediately, why that's important, immediately people check alignment. Oh, is this something I'm interested in? Yes, no. If yes, Mark wants it, totally did. If you're not interested in that, you just click away and you go and do something more useful with your time, and everyone wins. Great. If it is something, then they're going to read deeper into the page. So kind of make it clear up front about what this is about. So that'll be number 1. Here's what I have for you. Number 2 would be, here's what it will do for you. And this is, in marketing terms, often what we call the kind of benefits, which is a whole thing, which I'll touch on a little bit, but it's a kind of deep topic. So here's what it's going to do for you. If you engage with this, if you read this blog, here's what you'll do. Okay, I was feeling stupid earlier. If you struggle to spank your monkey while simultaneously surrendering to the mystery of God, I have a story that I think will blow your mind or your wad. So, here's what I think it will do for you. Here's why I think it might be interesting. Here's what I think you would get out of engaging with this thing that I'm offering to you. Number 2, here's what I think it will do for you. And then number 3, here's what to do next. So as in, here's what it is. I'm interested in it. Great. What do I do? That's the call to action. Click the link, press the buy button, put your email address in the box, and don't be afraid to really spell that out and just say, if you're interested, push the button below. If you want to read it, click on the link to read it. You can be very explicit about those things. It's amazing the amount of people I see that that create marketing pages and there's no clear next action, or it's confused, or it's like, you know, you have to click to another page and it doesn't like make sense. It's like, make it really simple for people. And because you're speaking at that point, you're speaking to the person who is interested and they want to make a decision like, yeah, I want to go in, I want to go deeper, I want to go deeper. Make it very easy for them to do so. That's a rough frame. Like I said, please fuck with it, mess around with it. And that's also the conventional frame. So if you notice, it's all in the second person. It's, well, most of it, it's you. It's here's what I have for you. Here's what I think it will do for you. Here's what you should do next. Good, important. And for me, I would very, very strongly counterbalance that with the self-revealing, as in, who am I? Why do I care about this? What's my story about why I'm offering this to you? Why do I think it's interesting? Why am I passionate about it? So that would be a rule of thumb I would give you for any copy that you want to write. Basically, you probably want to have, excuse me, the whole thing in first person and second person, as in using the pronouns I and you. So, you know, I made this workshop because I just care so much about cosmic monkey spanking, because it really helped me when I was in a time of suffering, whatever it is. And you, here's what I think it would do for you. Here's why I think it would be interesting. Here's what you can do next. I and you. Don't do what so many people do, and they write it either in the third person or in the like abstract third person, you know, like, this program will help its participants by blah, 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 blah. It's like, man, we know you're writing it. We know that, you know, you're writing it to me. Like, let's have a conversation about this. Have it be conversational. That's one of my pet peeves about people's bio pages as well on websites. Like, don't write it in the third person. Don't write, you know, James is a blah, 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 and he studied a blah, blah, blah. Like, we know that you wrote it, James. Just say it's me, James, and this is who I am. Very important that copy is, that it feels conversational, basically. That's definitely one trick with copywriting. The more that it feels conversational rather than like mechanistic, or that it feels like I'm being lectured to, like, that doesn't work. I said I'd speak to benefits briefly, because Mark really wanted me to speak to that. One of the hardest parts of marketing, which is, it's the number 2 in the 1, 2, 3, is here's what it will do for you. Now, ideally, you know, you will be able to very articulately explain, if you engage with this thing, here is the benefit that you will get from doing so. And it's like, I continually find that process of trying to distill those benefits like a complete mind fuck. It's like trying to like switch your head around to like the other way of thinking. I think other people find it easier, but here's the way to think about it. In a sense, it's for the kind of products and services that we're probably going to have, it's like the transformational outcomes. So I'm a coach. If you were to, you know, genuinely engage with full commitment to the coaching process, here's what I believe will happen as a result. I think you will get in touch more with your essential self and who you actually are. You will have more courage to speak what you're here to speak and what wants to be spoken. You will have more courage to reveal yourself in public. You will get clearer on what it is you're really here to do and how to articulate that to people. You will feel more excited about getting out of bed in the morning and doing your work. You know, whatever those outcomes that you hope people are going to have. Just to draw another quick distinction on that one, here's the famous one. The Apple iPod MP3 players, there were loads of them on the market before the iPod came along, and they all sold themselves on the features. And the features would be, you know, how many gigabytes of thingy whatevers they store on the thing, you know, what the headphone cable is made out of, and all, you know, those are features. Those are objective kind of technical features. Or the coaching equivalent would be, you know, you're going to have 12 sessions of 90 minutes with me, or whatever it would be. Important, but those are not benefits. Apple came along and they had this famous slogan, which I can't remember totally, but I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like 100 songs in your pocket. So that doesn't speak to the features of how the MP3 player works. It speaks to, hey, if you buy this thing, you can have 100 songs in your pocket and just listen to them whenever you want. And the everyday person who is interested in that kind of thing goes, ooh, that would be really, really fucking cool to have that. So that is the essence of benefits. And if you are, I mean, that kind of covers any kind of copy. Even if I'm emailing my list and telling them about a blog post I've written, I want to kind of touch in on it. I do it gently. I'm not going to like spell it out in like really clear bullets or something. Some people do. I don't particularly have that style, but I want to touch in on, if you read this thing, here's what I think it'll help you with. When you're selling something, coaching, services, products, then you definitely want to pay attention to benefits. So if you're in the process of doing that, how to frame your offer, do some Googling around benefits. There's probably a bunch of practices and suggestions out there of how to think about it. Like I said, it can be a bit of a twisting mindfuck to start to work out how to phrase it in that way. And I would definitely say don't give yourself a hard time if you find it really difficult, because I think it is really difficult, but spend some time on it. Me and Mark spent a bunch of time on that for the Purpose Black Belt. So you can see Mark's benefits. Let's find Mark's benefits on his page. Dun, dun, dun. Here you go. What you can get from Purpose Black Belt: grow your positive impact in the world, increase what you're paid for doing it, belong to a supportive community of values-driven people, be better able to provide for your kids or cat or whatever. There you go. Benefits. It speaks to, okay, what am I actually going to get out of this? Okay, we're running up on time. What do I want to get in here before we go? I think I've covered all that. Dun, 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 dun. Let's try and wrap it full circle. All those tactics are really important. If you're at the part of your business where you think, or your work where you think marketing is an important thing for you, and you want to pay more attention to it, do a bunch of reading, do a bunch of studying on it. I will post some links after the class on the Facebook group of things I think you can go and check out. Tactics and all that strategic stuff, very useful. Good to learn the conventions so you can break them. But like I said, I really, really, really think the meta practice, and it's the long game here as well. It's the long game of, if this is really your work in the world and this is really the thing you're here to do, I imagine that you're going to spend decades in some form or another doing this work. So play the long game, and the long game is, like I said, it's really just show up. Like, show who you are, show what you care about, and whatever medium you want to do. Mark uses Facebook. I use Facebook somewhat, not as much as him. I blog a lot, other things. So show yourself, keep relating with your tribe, and just be in relationship with them, and keep putting it out there. I really think that is the most important thing you can do. Right on time, Mr. Walsh.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I've been paying attention, taking notes. I did take a picture of me kissing the computer screen, which you'll see on Instagram now. And yeah, super useful for me, so I imagine useful for everyone else too. Ewan, if people want to follow you, feel free to do the take action part. If people want to kind of follow you or look at your blog, what do they need to do? If there's anything you want Catherine to send around, she can send out an email, just send it to Catherine and she'll send it out as a follow-up. If there's good websites like Blogger, things you recommend people to look at, like top article on Topic Copy Blogger, or
I'll do that.
Like your blog plus some resources, that sort of thing would be cool. Anything you want to mention now?
Two things, yeah. If you want to follow me, best thing is on the website. It's therealizedentrepreneur.com. And second one would be, if you haven't read it, read this book. Read this book. And this is the man to do on marketing.
Yeah.
Seth Godin, The Icarus Deception.
His blog, it's every kind of few days he gives a blog that's a paragraph. It's super short and he's just really pithy, easy to read. He's no bullshitty, good values. I've read several of Seth's books, like Purple Cow and various other ones. So yeah, if you could read one person on marketing, I'd say either the Marketing for Hippies guys online or Seth. Those two combined, pretty strong. Anything from you, sir, personally? Any bits you want to say, or like the website?
No, that's it. If you guys have questions, like post them on the Facebook group and tag me in it, and I'm more than happy to answer as many questions as you have. Follow-ups on this, different things. What? Sorry?
realizedentrepreneur.com.
I'll give you the link here. We go.
Okay, sir. Say thank you. I'm going to close your screen down, but you'll still be able to be on the chat if anyone's got final things there. Okay, so everyone, awesome as ever. There'll be a thing from Catherine going out, so look out for that. It's probably gone out already. If it hasn't, there's a few more videos coming up. Same stuff. We're moving towards black belt now, moving towards some practical thing out in the world. So you really want to start thinking, how can I get this actually happening? Because sometimes it can take a month to set something up. So it's kind of a pity if the course is finished and you're doing it in January. It's not impossible, but it means you can't get feedback. You're not part of the community in the same way. So yeah, do be kind of making the practical steps, because we're almost there. I believe we have Erica Sosner next week, who I just talked to on Skype a couple of days ago. Super practical, super sort of how to start a plan. She'll touch in on orange belt stuff as well, because that can really come up again at this point where you're launching something. Remember, it doesn't have to be like a whole new business. It can just be a little aspect of what you do, a little trial or a little free session or a little workshop, or some sort of new way of doing what you've already been doing. There's lots of options there. I want to start seeing some discussions on the group about that. Yeah, and I'm very much live in this with you. I am launching a thing on traction, embodied attraction. We're calling Beauty Black Belt, continuing the brand in the next few weeks. So I am with you in this very much. It's a very vulnerable topic. So, I'm with you like straight down the line. I'm talking to you in 2 days, literally, to get his advice again. Yeah, let's do this together. And all the love from Israel. I will cover myself in hummus and think of you guys. So I'm going to end it there. Anything before I finish up? Woohoo! Woo! Anything else? Anything else? Any other bits? Yeah, enjoy the dessert. Thank you to Ellie, whose computer I've been using as well. Thank you, sir. Public, thank you. He's over there looking suspicious in the corner. Cool. Okay, well, I'll leave it there. Thanks, guys. And if you're watching this on the recording, I'll see you in the Facebook group. So cheers, everyone. Thank you, Ewan, one last time. And how do I press the little close it down button? You think stop broadcast? There we go. Good. Cheers, guys.